Archangel Michael says a big police investigation is actually looking right at your neighborhood right now. The thing is, they were actually caught doing this to you by the police officers themselves, which is really shocking. You really need to open this right now. Listen to me closely, my child, and please do not skip this, because honestly, what I am going to tell you is going to really shake you up. There is something that has been happening right outside your window, right in the streets you really thought were safe. And now, finally, the truth is actually out. Police officers have actually been going around your neighborhood. They are watching every single corner and taking down names, and you honestly will not believe what they found. You have to stay until the very end because there is something really huge waiting just for you. And listen, if you miss even a little bit, you are going to lose track of what is about to happen. The investigation actually started quietly during the night, while most of your neighbors were fast asleep. Officers in regular clothes moved really quietly, basically blending right into the dark shadows. But even so, their eyes were fixed on just one place, and that was your street. They were not just looking for random people, what they were actually looking for was a pattern. And when they finally connected the dots, the truth pointed right back at something that is connected to you. Do not skip this, because what they caught is going to surprise you in ways you really never expected. Reports were written down and files were stacked up, but honestly, none of this went out to the public. They really did not want any panic. They just wanted to be absolutely sure. What they found out was not just about a crime, it was actually about control, about someone trying to use your neighborhood as a place for something much bigger. You need to stay until the end because the detail I am going to tell you might really change how you see the people around you. One officer actually admitted something to another one. We honestly did not believe it at first, but this whole thing was planned, and the target was not random at all. It was actually connected to a specific person right here. Just imagine that, my child. Imagine hearing those exact words and really realizing how heavy they are. Do not skip, because the shock is really just starting. Then, the night of the big confrontation happened. Cameras that were hidden in the streetlights actually filmed it. Voices recorded every single word. The police basically caught them right in the act, with their hands deep in something they really had no right to touch. It was not just about money. It was not just about property either. It was actually information, something really personal, something they thought you would never find out. Stay until the end because this news is way too big to just drop halfway through. When the officers took them in to ask questions, the suspects actually broke down. One of them whispered your exact street name, and that was the moment when everything really changed. What was once just a guess turned into real proof that you cannot deny. My child, you really must not skip this because the truth is raw and real, and it is happening faster than anyone expected. The files are marked secret, but the whispers are actually spreading around. Someone from this neighborhood was tricked, the officers said. And in those words, there is a link that connects directly to you. Someone really thought they could pull strings quietly. Someone thought no one would notice, but heaven made sure their cover would be ripped right off. Do not skip because you are about to see how what is hidden becomes plain to see. My dear soul, do not skip this moment because what I am about to tell you is basically the heart of the story. Stay with me until the end because something huge is waiting for you, and you honestly will not believe what was found when the police looked deeper. The night felt heavy when the investigation really opened up. A knock sounded on a specific door in your neighborhood, and the sound of it still hangs there like thunder. Officers went in, and their voices were strong but calm, carrying files that said more than words could. They were not chasing shadows anymore. They actually had real proof, and the name they had in those papers was tied to something much closer to you than you ever imagined. Stay until the end because you really have to hear this. Neighbors peeked from their windows with curtains half open and hearts beating fast. They wondered why there were so many cars, why the lights were flashing, and why the feeling in the air was like lightning about to hit. But what they did not know is that the real reason for this sudden action was tied to a secret plan that involved you. Do not scroll away because the shock is about to get deeper. Inside the station, confessions were coming out like water from a broken jar. One suspect finally leaned back with shaking eyes and said, "It was not supposed to go this far. The plan was just to collect, just to watch." But then someone gave an order and everything really changed. My child, those words shook even the officers because suddenly it was not just a case, it was a chain leading to something much more personal. Stay until the end because you need to see where this is actually going. Here is the shocking part. They had papers with personal details, private moves, and even notes about the smallest things that no one should ever know. How did they even get this? Who actually gave it to them? That was the question going through the investigation. And the answer, when it came out, froze the whole room. Do not skip, because this is the kind of news you will never forget. It was not random, my dear. It was all planned out. They were caught because officers followed the money, hidden payments, quiet trades, and every path pointed back to one big truth. This was a setup aimed right at you. The weight of finding that out made the officers lean closer, whispering to each other that this was no normal crime. Stay until the end, because the next twist will shock you more than anything else so far. The person doing this was not a stranger, not someone from far away. It was someone way too close, someone who thought you would never find out, and someone whose mask is about to break in front of everyone. And before I tell you that truth, just pause for a moment. Share this message so others can see how secrets come out when you least expect it. Subscribe so you do not miss the next parts because what is happening next is way too big to ignore. Stay with me until the end, my child, because in a moment the mask of the hider will fall and you will finally know why the police came to your neighborhood that night. My child, stay close right now and do not skip because this is the turning point you have been waiting for. The investigation has reached the top, and what the officers found will leave you without words. From the first moment they started following the trail, they knew it was bigger than anyone thought. But tonight, they finally connected the dots, and the truth is too strong to ignore. Stay until the end because something huge is waiting for you. The officers put files all over the table, pictures, notes, and tapes. Each piece was heavy, each detail was like a string leading to a bigger plan. And then one name came up. one name that made the whole room go quiet. This was no random neighbor, no person far away. It was someone who walked these streets with their head high, someone who fit in so well that no one thought twice. Do not skip, because the closer you get to the answer, the clearer the picture gets. Just imagine the shock when the police played the hidden video. Voices were caught whispering in the dark, steps sounding too close to your walls, and talks that were never meant for your ears. The suspects admitted that they were not working alone. Someone higher up, someone closer, was pulling the strings. And when they finally pointed at the one who gave the orders, the officer's eyes got wide. Stay with me until the end, because this is the moment everything changes. Neighbors gasped when officers in regular clothes walked right to a house they knew. People you thought were normal suddenly looked different in the worst way. And right then, the investigation was not just about catching bad guys. It was about showing a trick that had been hiding right in front of you. My child, the reason you must not skip is because this moment shows why everything was made to come back to you. The files showed it clearly. Notes about your daily moves, your habits, and the smallest details that only someone close could have known. This was not luck, it was on purpose. And as the officers read those words out loud, the truth felt like fire burning through dry wood. Do not scroll. Do not move away, because the deepness of this news will stay with you forever. Stay until the end, because the mask of the hider is about to be pulled off completely. The officers did not just find a suspect, they found a link, a shocking tie to your life that you never imagined would be part of such a secret plan. My dear one, stay with me until the end, because this is the moment the whole investigation turns toward you. Do not escape, because what I am about to show is the very reason that shocked even the officers themselves. The files, the confessions, the watching, it all pointed in one way. But no one expected the reason to be this personal, this planned, and this close. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next words may change the way you see everything. As the officers pushed harder, the suspects could not stay quiet anymore. One voice broke under the pressure, shaking as it spoke. It was not random. It was never random at all. The plan was always about one person. Everything we did was to get closer to them. My child, do not skip, because those words were like fire spreading in that room, shocking, true, and too specific to ignore. The investigation changed right away. Officers leaned in, eyes sharp, voices steady. Who gave the order? Who started this? They demanded to know. And when the name was finally spoken, it sent a wave of shock across the table. Stay until the end, because this is where the real boss is shown. The one hiding behind the curtain the whole time. It was not about money only. It was not about land either. It was actually about control. Control over you. Someone saw the light in you, the strength in you, and they wanted to twist it, to trap it, and take what was never theirs. The police realized it was not just a crime, it was obsession, a dangerous want to shape your path without you knowing. My child, do not scroll, because the closer you listen, the more you will see how planned this was. Proof showed meetings in quiet corners, trading envelopes, and a list. Yes, a list where your name was circled, underlined, and marked with red ink, as if you were the main part of their plan. This was not just watching, this was targeting. And that news left officers shocked, asking themselves, why you? Why now? Stay with me because the truth is getting closer and closer. The moment of showing the face came when officers brought the tricker face to face with their own proof. For a moment, quiet hung in the air, heavy and hard to breathe. Then the truth came out, not saying no, but in a half smile, as if they thought no one would ever catch them. Just imagine, my child, the shock of knowing someone so close had played such a game behind your back. And before I take you deeper into this, pause for a moment. Share this news. Let others know how tricks hide right in plain sight. Subscribe so you do not miss the next part. Because what comes next is not just a reason, it is the whole story of why you were picked as the center of this whole thing. Stay until the end because in the next part, the web of lies will be ripped apart completely, and the reason your name was marked in red will be shown fully. My child, hold on and stay with me because what I am about to tell you is the confession that shook every officer in the room. Do not skip because this is where the boss finally opened their mouth and showed the hidden truth. From the very first moment, their quiet was heavy. Their eyes had secrets, but under the pressure of real proof, the words came out like thunder rolling through the night. Stay until the end because something huge is waiting for you. The officers leaned closer, the air thick with stress. One file after another was put in front of them photos, sound, and people who saw. There was no escape, no saying no strong enough to erase what had been caught. And then, in a voice that shook between pride and losing, the confession came. It was always about them. I wanted to control what they would never give me freely. My dear, do not scroll away because those words carried a truth so sharp it cut through the whole investigation. This was not about money. It was not about owning things. It was about owning. Someone you thought was normal had been watching you like a shadow, making plans around your life, making a fake stage where every move you made was taped, studied, and used against you. The officers could not believe it at first, but every path, every secret deal showed the same thing. You were the target. Stay with me until the end because this is the point where everything falls into place. The boss explained how they put whispers in the neighborhood, how they changed stories, and how they set traps made to make you doubt yourself. They thought no one would find it because everything was wrapped in quiet. But quiet does not last forever, and when the police came in, the walls of secrets finally fell down. My child, imagine hearing this with your own ears, knowing that the trick was not random. It was planned and it had your name written all over it. Neighbors who once smiled at you, who nodded when walking by, were suddenly shown as part of the trap. Some out of fear, some because they liked the boss, and some because they were blinded by promises. But the officers saw it clearly. The strings all led back to one person, one reason, one big truth. Do not skip this moment because this is where the game they played turns against them. And then the officer in charge said something that sounded like a prediction. You thought you could hide the truth, but tonight it has come up. Every secret has an end, and yours has been shown. Dear soul, stay with me until the end, because the depth of this trick is about to show its last part. Before I take you into that last part, pause right now. Share this story so no one else is surprised by such hidden traps. And subscribe because what comes next is the sharpest hit of truth. The reason you were picked, the exact reason behind the boss's want, will shock you beyond words. My child, do not skip because what opens here is the deepest part of the investigation. Stay until the end because this is where the officers finally showed the shocking reason that no one saw coming. The files were already heavy, the confessions real. But when the real reason behind it all was said, the whole room froze in shock. Something huge is waiting for you, and every second counts. The boss leaned forward, no longer hiding, no longer faking. Their words cut through the quiet. It was never about money. It was never about luck. It was always about them. I wanted what was theirs. I wanted their life to fit my plan. Just imagine hearing this, my child. The cold confession that your very life was the prize they were chasing. Do not scroll away, because this is the turning point you cannot miss. The police put it all together. Every late night meeting, every shadow moving down your street, every file with your name written across it. It was not random watching, it was want. The boss did not want money alone. They wanted sway over your life, control over your choices, and power over your very path. And that is what made this case unlike anything the officers had seen before. Stay with me until the end, because the news is only getting stronger. Neighbors whispered shocked as they realized the trick was rooted in jealousy. It was not about what you missed, it was about what you had that they could never have. Your presence, your favor, your unseen light. This was what made you the target. This was what pulled them into a plan so dangerous it fell under its own weight. My child, do not skip this part, because the closer we get, the clearer the truth becomes. The officers themselves admitted, "We thought we were chasing a crime, but this is bigger, this is personal." And in those words, the weight of it all became true. You were not just caught in the middle, you were the center, the reason the whole thing existed. Stay until the end, because what is coming next will tear the final mask away. Before I go on, pause for a moment. Share this news so others can see how truth comes up when least expected. My child, stay with me and do not skip, because this is the moment you have been waiting for. The moment the mask is ripped off and the name of the hider is shown. Stay until the end, because what I am about to say will keep you in shock, and something huge is waiting. Right. At the end of this story, the officers had all the files spread across the desk, photos, papers, tapes, and words. But it was not until the last talk that everything locked into place. One officer leaned forward, eyes sharp, voice steady. "Tell us who gave the order. Say the name." And then, with a shaking whisper, the name was finally said. My dear, imagine the silence that fell in that room, the heavy feeling of knowing, the gasp of finding out. It was someone no one expected. Do not scroll away because you cannot miss this show. It was not a stranger. It was not an outsider. It was someone part of your everyday. Someone who smiled in public but planned in private. Someone who thought you would never find the truth. That name, once said, spread through the station like fire. Neighbors who heard could hardly believe it because the hider was way too close. Stay with me until the end because this closeness is what makes the news so big. The boss sat in silence, no longer able to say no, no longer able to hide. The officers read the proof out loud, lists with your name circled, plans written in their own hand, talks taped that tied every string back to them. Each piece of proof was like a hammer hitting until there was nothing left to say no to. My child, do not skip because the truth is opening right before your eyes. Then came the last words from the head officer. The web is broken. The mask has fallen. What was hidden in darkness is now shown in the light. Imagine the shock, the relief, the flood of feelings, all at once. The name that once hid in shadows is now out in the open, and the power they thought they had is gone in a single moment of truth. Stay with me because this news is only the start. Before we step into the deepest reason why you were picked, pause for a moment. Share this story so others understand how truth cannot be quieted, and subscribe so you do not miss the next part. Because what is coming next is the heart of it all. The reason, the secret they tried so hard to hide, and the reason everything came back to you, my child. Wait and stay with me, because this is the part where everything you have been holding your breath for finally comes alive. Do not skip, because the police did not just stop at naming the boss. They opened the very reason this whole plan existed. And the reason behind it is more shocking, more personal, and more memorable than anyone dared to think. Stay until the end because something huge is waiting for you. The officers leaned in closer, voices steady, pens writing on reports as the hider sat frozen, their mask broken. One officer asked the question everyone in the room was waiting for. Why them? Why was it all built around this one person? And in that heavy silence, the boss's voice broke into a confession that sent chills down every back in the room. Because they have something I could never touch, something I could never own, something I wanted to control. My dear, do not scroll, because that single sentence showed the depth of want that had been chasing you all along. This was not about money, not about a simple fight. It was jealousy at its highest, turned into a plan. They saw your light, your power, your path, and they could not stand it. They wanted to bend it, change it, steal it away, because in their eyes you had something greater than they ever could. My child, stay until the end, because this truth is raw, real, and meant for your ears. Now, the police found papers that proved it all. Plans to move your chances, ways to pull strings around your future, quiet moves made to make you doubt yourself. Every move was made like a game board, with you placed as the main piece they really wanted to knock over. But here is the twist. They missed one thing. They never thought the officers would catch them in time. They never thought the truth would come crashing down around their carefully built lies. Do not skip, because the closer we get, the stronger the news becomes. Neighbors who once trusted the hider stood in shock, whispering among themselves. The very streets you have walked every day suddenly felt different, like every corner had sounds of what had been hidden for so long. Yet, in that moment, clearness rose. Their reason was not strength, it was weakness. Their want to control you was born from their inability to control themselves. Stay with me until the end, because this is the part they never wanted shown. The head officer closed the file with a final word. This whole plan fell because of one thing. They missed the power of the one they tried to target. My dear, those words have power, because while they planned in darkness, truth rose like daylight, and no plan could erase it. Do not scroll, because the truth of who you are is stronger than any hidden plan against you. Before we move into the last parts of this story, pause and think. Share this news so the hidden games of tricks can no longer stay quiet. Subscribe so you do not miss what is next, because the last part of this story holds the most personal truth of all. My child, hold on and stay with me, because this is the moment when the story takes its sharpest turn. Do not skip, because the police did not just show the boss, they started things that no one could escape. Stay until the end, because something huge is about to be shown, and it will leave you shocked. When the last confession was out, the officers moved fast. Cuffs clicked in the silence. The hider's mask totally broke, and the very one who once thought they were safe was led away under the weight of real truth. Neighbors gathered, watching in shock, knowing that someone they trusted had been telling lies for so long. My dear, do not scroll, because you need to see how justice happened step by step. The files were closed with stamps of proof. Every picture, every tape, every confession piled together into a mountain of proof. Officers stood strong, saying, "This is no longer a case of guesses, it is a case of truth." And with that, the hider was stripped of every fake power they thought they had. Stay until the end, because this moment marked the fall of everything they built against you. The punishment was fast but right. The one who tried to change your path was forced to face the very system they thought they could beat. The same police who had once watched from shadows now walked them into the light to be seen. It was not just an arrest, it was the undoing of every secret string tied around your life. Do not skip, because this is where the story turns from tricks to healing. Neighbors whispered with relief, their voices carrying a single message: the truth always comes up. And my dear, in that moment, the weight lifted. The streets, once filled with doubt, now carried a new feeling, a clearness born from justice. The hider's fall was not just their end, it was your freedom. Stay until the end, because this freedom is only the start of what is coming for you. The head officer looked at the final report and spoke words that felt like a prediction. They thought they could write the story, but fate was never theirs to control. My child, those words are for you. No matter how strong their trap was, the truth was stronger. No matter how long they planned, the light was faster. Do not scroll, because the most powerful part is still ahead. Before we move forward, take this moment, share this news so others know how quickly hidden plans fall. Subscribe, because in the next part, the police will show not just the fall of the hider, but the shocking find of what was waiting for you all along. Something bigger, something surprising, something life changing. My child, stay with me until the end, because what you are about to hear is the most surprising twist of this whole investigation. Do not skip, because while everyone was focused on the arrest and the fall of the hider, the police found something shocking, something hidden, something that was meant for you all along. Something huge is waiting for you, and this moment will leave you without words. As the officers went through the proof, digging deeper into boxes of files, secret tapes, and taken items, one folder stood out. It was marked with a single word: kept. Inside, they found papers, forms, and closed information that no one was meant to see, not even the hider's closest friends. My dear, stay with me, because what was in that folder turned the whole case upside down. When the head officer opened it, his eyes got wide. He turned to his team and said, "This is not just proof, this is safety." The folder had details of chances, money, and people that were being moved, stolen from you before you even knew they were there. Imagine that, child. What was hidden from you was now being given back. Do not scroll away, because the story is now changing from tricks to gifts. The police found records of kept messages and signed papers and deals that had your name written across them. But the boss had tried to take them for themselves, and now, with their fall, all of it was opened again. The very thing they tried to steal was being fixed, piece by piece. Stay with me until the end, because the size of this news is huge. Neighbors gasped as news spread that the investigation not only removed a hider, but also found a hidden treasure of truth that belonged to you. It was not money alone, it was knowing who you are, identity, and doors of chances that had been locked away for a long time. And in a single move, the police brought it back to light. My child, do not skip, because the weight of this gift is too important for you to miss. The head officer finally closed the case with these words. They tried to hide it, but in protecting themselves, they kept what really belonged to you. Now it is being fixed. Imagine hearing that, my dear. The very thing stolen from your life is now coming back stronger and brighter than ever. Before I show how this hidden find will open into your future, pause right now. Share this news so others can see how justice does not just remove darkness, it brings back light. Subscribe so you do not miss the next part, because what is about to be shown is how this fix will change everything for you in ways you never thought. My child, hold on and stay with me, because this is the moment the whole story reaches its highest point. Do not skip, because what began as a police investigation in your neighborhood has now changed into something far beyond guesses and tricks. It has become the door to your biggest win. Stay until the end, because something huge is waiting for you right here. When the officers showed the hidden folder, They did not just find stolen details, they opened a path that had been quietly waiting for you. Inside those closed pages lay connections, yeses, and chances that had been frozen in time, buried under the boss's lies. And now, for the first time, everything is being given back into your hands. My dear, do not scroll because this is the moment fixing turns into changing. The head officer stood before the files and said, "These were not just stolen, they were kept safe," as if fate itself was waiting for the right time to hand them back. Those words were not just formal, they carried weight, like a prediction spoken over your life. The very things taken from you are no longer lost. They are coming back with more power than before. Stay with me until the end, because this is only the start of your win. Neighbors who once whispered in fear now whispered in wonder. They saw that what was meant to hurt you has instead opened the gates of gifts. Where once there was doubt, now there is clearness. Where once there was a trick, now there is healing. My child, do not skip this because your story is changing right now. As the files were signed and marked, officers said that these things, these chances, are officially being returned to their real owner. You imagine the moment, my dear, when everything they tried to lock away is suddenly put back into your name, your path, your fate. The win is not justice, it is plenty. Stay until the end, because the power of this moment is too big to let go. The officer's last words sounded like a promise. What was hidden is now shown. What was stolen is now fixed. And what was late is now sped up. My dear, those words are not just notes, they are truth spoken over you. This is not just the end of an investigation, it is the start of a new part that was waiting to burst open for you. Before I take you deeper into how this win shapes your future, pause right here. Share this story so no one misses how light always wins. Subscribe so you do not miss the last part, because what comes next is the end of everything, the full showing of what fate has been saving for you all along. My child, stay with me until the very last word, because this is the big finish. The moment everything you have seen, everything you have heard, comes together as a life changing gift meant only for you. Do not skip, because what began as whispers of investigation now rises into a roar of fate, and something huge is about to be put in your hands. The police thought they were only solving a case. They thought they were showing a trick and fixing stolen truth. But what they did not know is that this investigation was part of a bigger plan, one written not by man, but by fate itself. Every file found, every secret shown, every mask ripped off. It was all leading to this single moment, your rise. My dear, do not scroll, because this is where your tomorrow is born again. The officers handed over the last closed folder, and with it came words that changed everything. This belongs to you now. It was always meant for you. Inside was not just proof, not just papers, but keys, real and symbolic, to doors that had been closed for too long. Doors of chances, doors of favor, doors of healing. Stay until the end, because this is not the end of the story, it is the start of your win. Neighbors who once whispered in fear now spoke your name with respect. The very street that had shadows now had light. The people who thought you would never rise watched as justice lifted you higher than before. My child, do not skip this moment, because your story is now being written again in front of everyone. The head officer closed the investigation with words that were more than formal. They were like a prediction. What was meant to trap you has now become your story. What was hidden in darkness is now your crown in the light. Imagine hearing that, my dear, and knowing that every hard time, every trick, every shadow was only getting the stage ready for your gift. Stay with me until the end, because your crown is already here. And here is the big part, the twist you only see once. The hider's fall became your rise. Their plan became your stage. Their lies became your ladder. And everything they tried to bury has now been planted as a seed of greatness in your future. My dear, do not scroll, because the gift that has been unlocked for you is far bigger than anything they try to take away. This is more than healing, it is changing completely. This is more than justice, it is fate. You were not just kept safe, you were picked. And now the doors that were closed are opening in ways that no one can shut. Stay with me until the end, because this gift is not waiting. It is here right now, ready to change your tomorrow forever. My child, wait and stay with me, because this is where the story steps beyond just news and moves into real change. Do not skip, because what I am about to tell you is not just the end of an investigation, it is the start of your new life. Stay until the end, because something huge is happening for you right now. The win that was found did not just close a case, it opened a future. The police may have thought they were only solving a crime, but in truth, they unlocked a hidden path made just for you. Every file, every closed paper, every stolen chance that was fixed is now shaping into a fate bigger than what you once thought. My dear, do not scroll away, because this is the part where justice turns into joy. The neighborhood that once buzzed with doubt now speaks of your win. Neighbors whisper not of tricks anymore, but of how the one targeted has now become the one lifted up. The same streets that had shadows now carry your light. And child, listen closely. This is not just a story of making it through, it is the story of your rise. Stay with me until the end, because your tomorrow is being written in brighter ink than ever before. The head officer, before closing the case for good, said something that feels like it was meant for you. This was more than proof, it was a prediction. What was taken has grown, and what was late has sped up. Imagine those words sounding over your life, my dear. They were not just speaking of stolen files, they were speaking of you, your path, your win. Do not skip, because your rise is already happening. Now the gift begins to show itself in real ways. The stolen connections turn into open doors. The lost chances return stronger, remade for your future. The name that was once hidden now shines in full clearness, and the power that once tried to hold you down has been broken forever. Stay with me, because this is not just an idea, it is real life happening in your favor. And here is the most powerful truth: their trick became your gift, their fall became your rise, their plan became your crown. Everything they planned has now been turned into fuel for your fate. My child, do not scroll, because this story is real proof that nothing stolen stays hidden and nothing broken stays lost. Before we step into the final showing of what this gift means for your future, pause now. Share this news so others can see how light always wins. Subscribe so you do not miss the last part of this story because the big finish is not yet over.